Good evening, the 30th of November 2025, the last Sunday of November, and officially we're looking at the month of December. I do trust and believe that those New Year's resolutions that you had laid out for yourself, you have at least come close to achieving, if not all, but some. This is Sunday Express. We'll be bringing you up to speed with stories that have been making headlines. But first things first, the highlights.
The HIV/AIDS crisis, about 20,000 new infections recorded in 2024. Kenya is on course to first world status, says President William Ruto, citing the revival of previously ailing sectors. Drunk driving, speeding, and wanton defiance of traffic rules are to blame for road carnage.
Good evening, I'm Regina Manyara, and my colleague on sign language is none other than Lensa Odingo. Now, the National Police Service and the National Transport and Safety Authority have cautioned motorists against fueling a preventable national tragedy through drunk driving, speeding, and outright defiance of the law during the festive period. Speaking during a road safety concert in Nairobi, the agencies say Kenya is losing lives not to accidents but to road indiscipline.
As the festive season begins, the National Transport and Safety Authority and the National Police are issuing a firm warning to road users that recklessness on roads will not be tolerated.
We have prepared enough that our officers will be there on the ground to check whether the vehicles, whether those public service vehicles are carrying excess, whether the vehicles are roadworthy.
We'll be issuing the checklist for what violations will lead you into problems. We'll not be out to really do the cat and mouse kind of game, but a bit proactive, that you get to know what you're supposed to do.
Nairobi Area Deputy Traffic Commander Rashid Ali, who spoke during a road safety and precaution concert in Nairobi, said the agencies are ready to deploy roadblocks, remove unroadworthy vehicles, and enforce the law without compromise.
For the drivers who will be contravening, those who will be drunk, those who will be driving on our road while drunk, those who want to overload our vehicle, those who are going to carry excess, the fine will be stiff. They will be arrested and charged accordingly.
NTSA and NPS are urging members of the public to report incidences of recklessness, stressing road safety is a shared responsibility.
We also want to encourage the members of the public to report incidences. Don't wait until we come for these drivers. If you notice a driver who is speeding, driver in levy, just report.
In a new initiative, NTSA and National Police Service are collaborating with the music and entertainment sector to lead public awareness campaigns on road safety to push messages of discipline, sobriety, and responsible driving.
We shall be on the road throughout until the second week of January. Don't be on the wrong side. Be on the safe side. Watu waende pole pole, warudi pole pole.
Through this collaboration, when we combine the energy, we combine art, that is music, we bring enforcement through the police, and we bring policy through NTSA, we're able to achieve our objective.
Let's adhere, let's talk to our drivers, let's sensitize our workers. They need to tie their safety belts. They need not to drink while they're driving.
We need to change our attitude. We need to go back to the basics so that we can all see safety. As we go to the festive time, we all want to celebrate and go back safe. We urge everyone, it's their responsibility.
Over 4,200 people have lost their lives in road carnage this year.
I've always repeated this, that really the best gift you can give to your family is for you to arrive alive home. Not the bread, not the clothes you're going to take home, not those parties you're going to throw. But if you can remain alive for them, I think that is the best gift that you can give to your friends, family, and relatives.
Usalama ni jukumu letu sote, wana Kenya tuwajibike, tutimize sheria zote barabarani.
A call to action there for both motorists and pedestrians alike: arrive alive and safe. Now, President William Ruto says he's setting up the country for takeoff from third to first world within the next 30 years. The head of state, while addressing congregants at the IC Milimani, Nairobi, said sectors that were ailing, including health, education, and the economy in general, have been fixed, and the country is now ready for takeoff to greatness. Give us on Minor reports.
After several walking trips across the country, President William Ruto on Sunday chose to remain in the capital city, where he joined the faithful at the Nairobi AIC Milimani. The president sustaining his quest of moving Kenya from third to first world country within the next 3 decades.
I am asking you, as members of my local church and as Christians, to pray for the plans we have for Kenya, so that God can make the difference in Kenya. I am very confident. I have no doubt in my mind that it is possible to move Kenya from a third world country to a first world country before I die. It's possible. In the next, by the time I get to 90, Kenya should be a first world country.
President Ruto says his administration has since stabilized the economy, health and education systems that he says were ailing before he came into office.
I have great confidence in the future of Kenya. I have seen what God can do. 3 years ago, we were struggling with the economy, we were struggling with education. Our health system was not quite together. Our economy was not doing very well. But God has healed our economy. He has changed things for us.
In a seemingly charm offensive, the head of state turned to the church, asking it to pray for the government and the leaders to do the right thing for the country.
We have additional leaders who are coming to join us, those of us who are privileged to be in leadership. Please pray for those who have been elected. Pray for those of us who are serving, so that we can discover the will of God for our nation and the purposes of God for our leadership.
After slamming the opposition for losing the parliamentary seats to the Broad-Based side in the Thursday's by-elections, he now appeared to embrace even the opposition-elected leaders for MCA positions, saying it was the will of God. Give us in Minor, Sunday Express.
Indeed, we are getting into the festive season. Now to politics. Democracy for Citizens party leader Rigathi Gachagua is accusing the government and the Nairobi County Governor Johnson Sakaja of sponsoring violence witnessed during the church service he was attending in Kariobangi, Nairobi. The former deputy president alleges goons were sent to attack the congregants in church as police officers lobbed tear gas at the masses. Meanwhile, National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula has lauded President William Ruto for commissioning the dualization of the Rironi-Mau Summit Road, terming it strategic in enhancing trade within the East African region.
DCP party leader Rigathi Gachagua attended a Thanksgiving church service in Kariobangi North days after his candidate won the area county assembly seat. But the ceremony ended prematurely after chaos erupted and tear gas were lobbed inside the church. Gachagua attributed the violence to national government and Nairobi County Governor.
Na mimi nikuambie gavana, wafuasi wangu walikupigia kura. Oro natumiwa na Ruto kutuma wahuni kuangaisha watu ya jamii yangu. Why? These people voted for you. You have turned against them. Sasa Ruto anakutuma na mihuni upige hii jamii ati kwa sababu hataki mambo yako. You cannot get the support of this community by force.
Watu wote tukiwa watu wa fujo, hakutakuwa na Kenya. Lazima watu wajue tuna katiba na tufuate katiba. Viongozi wawache kuwa ati kuna viongozi lazima wakae ni kama wanafuatwa, wanafukuzwa, ni kama ni wakibiaji, ni kama Kenya sio nchi yao.
Elsewhere in Kericho County, National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula has lauded President William Ruto for initiating the construction of a dual carriageway along the Rironi Mau Summit route.
Vile amelaunch kutoka Rironi mpaka hapa Mau Summit, isukumwe mpaka kwangu kule Malaba, isukumwe mpaka Isibania, Kericho mpaka Kisumu. Hii barabara inabeba almost 40-50% of our external trade.
MPs accompanying Speaker Wetangula said the results of the just concluded by-elections signaled the popularity of the broad-based government across the country.
Ile by-election tulifanya, hiyo ni ishara and a warning kwamba sisi tukiwa Kenya kwanza na broad-based tuko tayari kusonga mbele na Mheshimiwa Rais atuongoze mpaka 2032, atuachie taifa ambayo imejengwa kamili.
Na tunawaambia mambo bado. Hata hiyo Trans Nzoia, yeye ni one term, hakuna kitu kingine anatuambia.
Sentiments echoed in Kirinyaga County by Ndia MP George Kariuki, who dismissed claims that Bere North constituency by-election was rigged.
Upinzani ama mtu yeyote akipoteza kura, badala ajiulize ni wapi alienda, alipanga vibaya, ama ni wapi hakuweka bidii. Yeye ni mbio kuanza kuongea juu ya vile uchaguzi imeimbiwa. Hii hakuna uchaguzi imeimbiwa.
In Murang'a County, area Senator John Nyoto challenged Jubilee Deputy Party Leader Fred Matiang'i to ask his leader and former President Uhuru Kenyatta to reach out to Rigathi Gachagua and unite the mountain electorate. Gishoke Washira, Sunday Express.
To matters health, Kenya registered 19,991 new HIV infections in 2024. The increment of more than 3,200 new cases from the previous year undermines the government's ambition of making Kenya HIV and AIDS free by 2030. The government is, however, making great strides in treatment, with plans to roll out injectable antiretroviral therapy in 2026 to improve treatment adherence and ease pressure on patients.
On the eve of the 41st World AIDS Day, marked every December 1st, Nairobi hosted a half marathon at Nyayo Stadium to express solidarity in the fight against HIV/AIDS and also raise awareness on the scourge. This was informed by statistics which indicated a rise in new HIV infections from 16,752 in 2023 to 19,991 in 2024. The bulk of this were youth aged between 15 to 24 years, the target of declaring Kenya HIV/AIDS free in 2030 notwithstanding.
I have lived with HIV for almost 18 years and actually, I was infected when I was 17 by another person. So life has been full of a bit of stigma, discrimination because I'm out.
As a young person living with HIV, and we know young people do not have access to funds and all that. So HIV si dawa peke yake. We need to have kidney test, we need to have your liver checked so that we know how your medication is taking place. We need to have viral load tujue kama dawa zinafanya kazi. Of course, we take ARVs to suppress the virus. We need to know, is it being suppressed? So hizo tests zote sahi haziko. Those are the services that were withdrawn, but the drugs are there.
Among those which were 15 plus, 41% occurred among adolescents and young children aged between 15 and 24 years. We came together and called upon partners. We called upon ministries and line development and implementing partners, and other stakeholders and actors. And we coined the term the triple threat that is challenging the health and well-being of our young people.
Withdrawal of donor funding also caused a major setback, disrupting essential HIV monitoring and testing.
It means that we are going to see more HIV infection because even in terms of people getting their ARVs, the health facility that were user-friendly, where people used to get their medications, have been closed down. So we are forced to go to the main hospital where everybody else is going, and that means there's no confidentiality. And that makes people not go to the health facility to collect their medication because there's stigma, they don't know how they're going to be mistreated, and they have to wait long queues for them to get their medication.
The chief guest, Prime CS Musalia Mudavadi, outlined measures taken by the government in the war on AIDS, key being a multi-sectoral approach.
The Kenya government, through the National Syndemic Diseases Control Council, has developed strategies and facilitated the right environment that allows multi-sectoral interventions and promotes public-private partnerships in addressing HIV and other syndemic diseases. This has enabled all the actors to mobilize resources, both internally and externally, for implementing HIV and AIDS prevention activities.
HIV services are also being integrated in the Social Health Insurance Fund and leveraging of new technology.
We have put in place mechanisms to ensure that we acquire and roll out the latest care and treatment technologies, including injectable ART, beginning next year. This is expected to ease the pill burden that is associated with oral ART, with the accrued benefit of enhanced treatment adherence.
The commemorations included outreach programs, testing campaigns, and educational activities to reduce new infections. Also launched were the Kenya AIDS Integration Strategic Framework and the Kenya AIDS Progress Report 2025, focusing on prevention, community-based interventions, and improving treatment adherence. Doreen Arange for Sunday Express.
Now we take a quick breather right here on Sunday Express, but when we come back, we'll be giving you those updates in terms of stories and also engaging our guests this evening as we talk about youth mentorship, the gaps they're in, and the recommendations going forward. For now, that breather.
Alisema hiyo nyungu ilale hapo siku 3.
Wewe ni ngapi umefanya na zimekuwa zikibackfire?
Tunakupenda lakini wewe utupendi.
Nenda kuitupa na huko.
Hapo ni kwenu, unakaa smart.
Ule mkijisikia.
Ukosho utakuwa poa hapa.
Unapika, unashiba, Lea Premium.
Lea Premium Flour, nurturing the world. Available in a store near you.
When the hills gave way in Marakwet, thousands were left with nothing. But together, we can help them rise again. Join KBC in the Restore Hope, Restore Earth campaign, Unity in Adversity. Together for Marakwet. Donate through paybill number 522533, account number 8036543, or drop foodstuffs and supplies at Marakwet County offices. Every shilling, every tree, every act of kindness counts. KBC, bringing Kenyans together.
We will open a powerful dialogue on prostate cancer and the vital role that women play in early detection, support and recovery.
Increasing the frequency of passing urine. It can also cause, particularly during the night, the frequency can be more. Like difficulty in passing urine, any other physical obstruction in passing urine. So these are the main signs and symptoms of prostate cancer.
I had a very supportive wife, very supportive family, my children, and very supportive employer.
Yes. Let us communicate as much as we can, because they will not, in most cases, men will not start a conversation about a sickness.
Being physically active, avoiding obesity, good diet, so reducing the red meat intake.
President, Dr. Chiang got shot. Huh? Never asked anyone to cut corners, and I never will.
Wipe his face! Down here!
Defibrillator, 200. Clear!
Welcome back. You're watching Sunday Express. Now, the government has reiterated the need to invest in agriculture, tax reforms, innovation and technology to generate its own resources and stop over-reliance on foreign aid. Speaking in Nairobi during the inaugural summit and launch of the 10-year strategic plan for the African Economic Research Consortium, the Principal Secretary for Economic Planning, Dr. Boniface Makoha, also called for embedding research in development planning. The consortium seeks to strengthen local capacity for independent and rigorous research on African economic management.
Two initiatives that we have implemented through our own generated resources include, number one, the affordable housing. Number two, the universal health coverage, the SHA. So this is a demonstration that as a people, if we look inward, we are able to generate our own resources. One of the approach here is tax, but we have also gone ahead to bring on board private players.
We are strongly committed to working with the National Treasury and Economic Planning, to work with the government of Kenya, to address issues that could enhance strategic development of Kenya by researching, generating data, strategic data, so that policies and strategies are designed on the basis of hard evidence and ability to strategize, see the pitfalls, and also maximize the benefits in terms of the planning where we should go.
Now, in Kenya's far north, near the remote community of Ileret in Marsabit County, scientists have uncovered one of the world's most extraordinary windows into early human life. Footprints left 1.52 million years ago and nearly documented animal and hoof prints believed to reflect early herding behavior are reshaping our understanding of the region's past. KBC's Alvin Kaunda traveled to Ileret and filed the following report.
This is Ileret in Marsabit County. The harsh sun-scorched plain belies the fact that it was once a green floodplain alive with rivers, trees and animals. But mundane as it may seem, it is here that in 2005 on the eastern shores of Lake Turkana, footprints of the early humans were discovered. Over 80 impressions made by Homo erectus, the upright man.
When they did a stratigraphy to understand about the sediments and also the geology and the time period, they found some depressions on the ground. And further exploration led to the discovery of footprints, a whole landscape which was full of footprints.
The prints were made on wet ground near a riverbank, then sealed by layers of sand, perfectly preserving them through time. Analysis confirmed their age to be about 1.52 million years old, a puzzling snapshot of early humans walking across a living landscape.
Standing here, it is difficult to imagine that
Beneath these sands lies the earliest forms of human traces, footsteps frozen long before modern human existed. But alongside the human footprints, researchers documented animal tracks, including clear hoof prints, suggesting early herding patterns or movements of animals that lived beside ancient humans.
The team of researchers also decided to undertake further conservation of these footprints. And throughout time, they had been trying different methods of how to preserve and also showcase the footprints to the public.
The tools found around footprints and hoofprints depict life as it was in Ileret long before civilization.
This particular project offers a very significant information, significant knowledge in as far as human origins are concerned within this landscape, and it offers a lot of opportunities to the community and also to the larger humanity.
But subsequent erosion, flooding, shifting soils and climate pressure are steadily eating away at the landscape that preserved these ancient footprints. To save the site, the National Museums of Kenya decided to rebury the prints under protective sand and reinforce the ground using gabions and native vegetation.
The intervention, mitigation we've done here can be borrowed by the community and implemented in the larger landscape for them to also be able to minimize the effects of climate change.
The Dasanach people who lived around Ileret have now become guardians of the site. Hands that once herded goats, now protecting humanity's oldest footprints. Through museum projects, they are learning heritage conservation, tourism and digital skills, building livelihoods while keeping history safe.
Tumejaribu kupata haya mafundisho kwa miaka 3 sasa. Tunashukuru pia hawa watu wa footprints wameweza kutupatia pia maarifa mzuri na pia wametuelekeza kwa maarifa mazuri ambayo wameweza kutuelekeza mahali sasa tumefika.
Concerted effort is what this site requires to tap its potential in science, tourism, education and community development.
When the project is completely handed over to the county government, we pick up the issue of employment. Already county government is considering people who are taking care of this site, both security, cleaners, curator. So county government is employing so that there is continuity in this site.
Here we have a lot of potential. Tourism in Marsabit County is exploited. We have the Chalbi Desert, we have the national parks, we have the lake, we have the footprints and many discoveries. Here the place is so much, the basin, the Lake Turkana Basin, all itself is a discovery area.
This is more than archaeology. It's a reminder that Kenya's northern frontier once held the earliest steps of humankind, and that the land which preserved those footsteps now need protection itself. These ancient footprints behind me reveal where our earliest ancestors once walked, and all around this landscape, the communities here continue to write the next chapter. Their lives, their resilience, and their connection to this land shows that Ileret is not just a place of discovery, it's a place of continuity. A reminder that the story of humanity did not end in the past. It is still being lived right here. Reporting from Ileret in northern Kenya, I'm Alvin Kaunder.
Thank you, Alvin, for that particular report. That's a place where history does not end, but rather continues. 1.52 million years ago. Wow. Breathtaking. Now, this comes in the wake of initiatives by the Kenya Tourism Board to just roll out an initiative saying going back to Eden, that is just focusing on having Kenya market itself as a cradle for mankind. We'll continue keeping tabs on those developments. Now, men have been challenged to seek guidance whenever they face family or societal challenges. According to experts, most men suffer in silence, and a situation that might lead to mental health challenges. The clarion call emerged during the Men's Wellness Summit held in Nairobi. Daniel Mwandwa reports.
At At the second edition of the Men's Wellness Summit held in Nairobi, the spotlight was placed on the growing mental health burden affecting men across the country. Speakers highlighted that many men continue to struggle in silence, often feeling compelled by societal expectations to appear strong, even when facing overwhelming personal pressures.
We cannot shy away from the challenges that are happening around, and especially affecting the men. If you look at the level of suicide, the greatest percentage is the men, and the difference is quite high. And when you look at even instances of depression, mostly it's men.
Among the major causes discussed were untreated emotional stress, financial and economical pressures, and the cultural stigma that discourages men from expressing their problems.
We need to realize that men need to be able to understand what their role is, what their place is, and to be able to learn what they need to do to realize their full potential as men.
Participants also noted that the constant expectation to provide, succeed and remain composed can push men towards anxiety, depression and emotional isolation.
Mental illness is like any other illness. It's like having a physical illness. It's just that now we are realizing why it is important. So when we have more of these conversations, I'll be able to understand, wow, this is how important my wellness is. This is why I should take care of my wellness. This is why I should be concerned about self-care.
During the summit, experts and participants explored practical solutions to these issues. Emphasis was also placed on equipping men with tools for everyday stress management and promoting environments where emotional well-being is treated as a priority rather than a weakness. Organizers said with the rise in participation, the aim is to continue expanding these platforms to ensure that men nationwide feel supported, understood and empowered to take charge of their mental health.
It's time to disrupt the comfort. Let's be comfortable in the discomfort of having these discussions, because this is where the evolution will come from.
For Sunday Express, I'm Daniel Wendwa.
In line with our conversation tonight, when you're going to be looking at youth mentorship, are men there for the boys in society? That's a question that you're going to be putting to our guest in not too long. Now to the counties, the Kenya Association of Women in Tourism, KWAT, has intensified its campaign against sexual harassment and gender-based violence in the hospitality sector. This marks 1 year since the signing of a partnership with the Kenya Union of Domestic Hotel Educational Institutions, Hospitals and Allied Workers to promote safer workplaces. Here's Ian Nzive with this and more from our counties.
The Kenya Association of Women in Tourism and Kudehia have marked 1 year of partnership aimed at ending sexual harassment and GBV in the hospitality sector. The two say GBV cases have dropped by 51% as more employers adopt workplace policies. KAWT plans to scale up the training of hospitality workers in the counties during the 16 days of activism against GBV.
We've been able to reach out to several hospitality establishments within different parts of the country. We've been to Kwale County, Kilifi County, Nakuru County, Nairobi, and we are still continuing to pursue outreach in other counties as well.
Almost 51% of the hotels that we represent, that they have been able to put in place the sexual harassment policy, and not only to put in place the sexual harassment policy, but also they have engaged, they have collaborated with the employees, the representatives, to ensure that this sexual harassment policy, it is formulated by both management, the employees and the trainees.
Elsewhere in Kiambu County, young graduates have been urged to embrace technology to unlock career and business opportunities. Speaking during SP Event Academy's 6th graduation ceremony in Ruiru.
A lot of job opportunity, especially when you do event, because event is wide. Like now, it's divided into different sections. We have the tents decor, we have the floral side, we have the funeral side. So when you decide to specialize, you can decide to go to any side.
In Tana River County, residents of Shirikisho and neighboring villages in Garsen held protests demanding its elevation to location status to improve access to social assistance programs and service delivery.
ili tupate kuendeleza hii sehemu yetu, tupige hatua kimaendeleo, kwa sababu tunakosa kupata maendeleo huko kwetu kwa sababu ya viongozi wale ambao wanaajiriwa na serikali, kama hao wenzangu wanavyolalamikia juu ya uongozi wa local government. Chief, sub chief hawatoi zile huduma zinavyotakikana.
Meanwhile, religious leaders in Homa Bay County have been asked to promote peace and unity across the country. Redeemed Gospel Church founder Archbishop Arthur Kitonga made the call during the consecration of the new South Nyanza Bishop in Oyugis.
There are even some preachers who are using the pulpit to abuse people. But the man Vidal is here, Odror, is a man who is very humble and he takes care of his family.
Switching gears to Baringo County, women in Ilchama's ward, Baringo South, are using sports and tree planting to mitigate climate change impacts caused by rising water levels in Lake Baringo and Bogoria.
We are seeing some people also being displaced, so we need to join our efforts together with the various stakeholders. It's not a one-man show. We need to bring a number of stakeholders so that then we can be able to fight climate change.
Sababu kuu ya kufanya hivyo ni kuleta hawa kwa pamoja ili tuweze kukuza ya mazingira na kuhakikisha kwamba mazingira yetu ni nzuri.
Still in Baringo County, Kuppet officials are demanding the immediate confirmation of JSS intern teachers, saying the 17,000 Kenya shilling stipend is inadequate.
We are here today to say that without the confirmation of JSS teachers in P&P, next year will not be business as usual. Kuppet power. Kuppet power.
We want to tell Teacher Service Commission, you cannot give us conflicting stories all the time that the teachers cannot be confirmed unless Parliament approves a budget. We are telling you, can you confirm our JSS teachers who are on internship?
Ian Ziva for Sunday Express.
Kuppet power. Confirm interns, confirm.
To sports now, Tanzania have become the first team from the CECAFA region to qualify for the 2026 Total Energies CAF Under-17 Africa Cup of Nations after commanding a 3-1 victory over Kenya in Sunday's semi-finals in Addis Ababa. Kenya had an early chance to take control when they earned a penalty just 10 minutes into the match. But Tanzania goalkeeper Haji Ali Abdallah redeemed himself by saving the spot kick. Hingol Juma opened the scoring with a powerful header in the 19th minute before Lukman Ali doubled the lead just half an hour mark after breaking through the Kenyan defense. Kenya rallied late in the second half with substitute Armstrong Omondi pulling one back in the 84th minute with a strike from distance. But Tanzania held firm and in an added time, Swam Shabani sealed the result with a third goal. The two finalists and the winner of the third place playoff will all secure places at the 2026 Under-17 AFCON. Let's see if our boys sail through. Now, Nairobi United suffered a second defeat of the CAF Confederation Cup group stage matches after losing 1-0 to Manyara Union in the Moi International Sports Centre, Kasarani. The Nai boys took charge of the game from the onset, dominating the early minutes, but Manyara looked focused enough with the defenders not making any mistakes, forcing a goalie's first half draw. Now, in the second half, Manyara came back stronger and confident, getting their first goal in the 67th minute through Sylvia Shitenge. The hosts struggled to get an equalizer, but the game ended in favour of the visitors. Following the loss, Nairobi United is last in Group B without a point from 2 matches. Defending champions Kenya Police missed a chance to move to the top of the FKF Premier League table after losing 1-0 to Shabana FC today. That one lone goal was scored by Gilbert Abala in the 29th minute. The other 3 matches played today ended in draws. Ulinzi Stars were held to a 1-1 draw by Bandari in early kickoff. Masita Masuta putting Ulinzi ahead in the first half before Darius Msaga leveled in the 60th minute. That score was replicated in the game between Kakamega Homeboys and KCB, with Gideon Bendeka netting for Homeboys first in the 3rd minute and Boniface Omondi leveling 9 minutes into the second half. Muranga Seal and Karibangi Sharks played to a goalless draw.
Geoffrey Ojunga inawekwa kwenye line kule. Darius Msaga, Darius Msaga mnyambo, akili ni nywele, kila mmoja wanasaki kichwani. Alichokifanya Darius Msaga, nywele.
Boxer Kusalata Musanga was crowned the new PST Women Champion after boxing Sandra Atremo of Sweden in the 10 rounds bout held last night at the Edge Convention Center in Nairobi. Musanga won the bout in a unanimous point decision, having scored 99-91, 96-94 and 96-94 from the 3 judges against her Swedish opponent.
Consolata Musanga won the PST belt last night after boxing Sandra Atermo of Sweden in their 10 rounds bout at the Edge Convention Center in Nairobi. Musanga won by unanimous points decision, and it was her 9th career win from the 24 times she has entered the ring, leaving her opponent Atermo with 2 wins from her 7 professional bouts.
Bantamweight champion from the 254, Consolata Musanga.
In the other bout held at the Edge Convention last night, Richard Ogola recorded his 7th win from 10 bouts after knocking out Ugandan Bruno Muwezi. Ogola, who entered the ring having won 6 of his 9 bouts, needed 4.5 rounds to put his opponent on the floor and secure the win. Kenya national champion Javan Buyu made it 2 wins from 2 after registering a win against Abdul Hakim for the 2nd successive time. The 2 boxers met for the first time last year when they both made their debut, and it was Buyu who still got the better of his opponent that time round. Consultant psychologist Kevin Gashe, the driver of mental health awareness campaign at the event, knocked out Wycliffe Andabu in the 4th round as he recorded his first win on his debut. Gashe was fighting for mental health awareness, especially in men, winning in the ring while also hoping to win outside the ring by convincing the men to speak up. Teddy Murimi defeated Brian Otieno. Kenyan Valentin Pondi lost to Ben Bottelbach of Belgium. Michael Odor got the better of Justus Ndegwa, while Leila Yazidu of Tanzania had too much power in her fists for Rachel Marion of Uganda.
Congratulations there. Now located about 3 kilometers from Oloitoktok town in Kajiado County at the slopes of Mount Kilimanjaro, the newly launched Mongolia Athletics Camp is the only high-altitude training camp in the South Rift region. The camp, which was officially opened Saturday by Athletics Kenya Senior Vice President Paul Mutui, currently accommodates over 40 female athletes and 12 years and above.
Magnolia Athletics Camp specializes in training female athletes from sprints to long-distance races from across the country. At the camp, the girls who are recruited through trials get educational scholarships as well as specialized training. The main focus for many athletes in the camp is to make the team for Kenya for next year's World Under-20 Athletics Championship in Eugene, USA, as well as competing in the AK Weekend Meet.
We've been going around primary and high school athletic competitions, from the zonals through to the national levels, and I can say by God's grace the camp has grown. Our girls are achieving, and very soon we are sure that we are going to get some into the international arena.
The camp will be expanded to accommodate more athletes with the dream of producing world beaters in the future. Reigning world 800-meter champion Lilian Odira, who graced the launch, challenged parents to support girls who aspire to take up the sport.
I want to thank the initiative and Magnolia at large, the Magnolia community, because
getting a community that can occupy such a thing is not easy. So I want to thank them because you see, when we were in Tokyo, it is the girl child that brought 6 gold medals. So when we support such young talents, I think we can do more better of that.
Odira has currently resumed her training in preparation for next year's Commonwealth Games, as well as the Ultimate Championships.
When I started, nilianza tu kama sikuwa najua nini, lakini I thank God because I got a coach and amenisaidia mpaka mahali nimefika. Niliingia juzi Team Kenya, sikuwa na respect kama nitaingia.
This year I've participated in cross country, but in 2 kilometers cross country seniors, and I went in regionals, and I went also in nationals, but I didn't do it well.
3 years now active, and I'm quite impressed because a few of our girls are now coming up very strongly. I had a girl recently in the World Under-20 Championship that went to Algeria, and I'm looking forward to seeing her possibly next year progressing to the World Under-20 Championship in USA.
The camp has specialized trainers, among them coaches, physiotherapists, chaperones, and teachers.
Welcome. So tonight we're going to be looking at youth mentorship. Looking at the statistics, we have quite a generation that is considered youth, but we have those who are ahead of them, looking back and hand-holding them as they journey through life. Now, taking us through this conversation is none other than retired pastor Dr. John Gishuri, CEO Njema Mentorship Foundation and chairman at the Turning Point Counseling Solutions. Thank you very much for making time.
Thank you.
The question, when you talk about mentorship, how does mentorship look for you, Mr. John Gishuri?
Mentorship is that you have either an older person or somebody with an experience in a certain area. He may not necessarily be older, but he has more, he has more knowledge on the subject. And then there are the people that are looking up to him for direction, for leadership, for mentorship. That's the relationship that exists between a mentor and a mentee.
So it's not an age factor, it's more knowledge and experience within that particular area.
That's right.
Now, the Kenya's population is continuing to grow, and the opportunities, when you look at the opportunities, are not expanding at the same pace. So from where you sit, why is mentorship, important now more than before?
Well, I would say the society has changed. There before, when we were growing up, now people my age, we had the people around us, the uncles, the aunties. We were just in a village. And mentorship was everybody's business. The aunties, the uncles, everybody would be there to help you. It has changed completely now that we are living in towns and people, you don't even know who your next door neighbor is. And so I think mentorship is more required now than before.
All right. That points to a challenge, or rather a gap. So in your view, what are the main gaps, within what is affecting the mentorship structures? You've said we are now in the cities. We do not have our uncles, our grandfathers, around us to talk to us. And even what other than that fact that we have moved from the rural, now we are in urban areas. What else?
I would also say that those people who are supposed to give mentorship or are thought to give mentorship don't have the time. We are looking at teachers, for example, in our institutions of learning, primary, secondary, university. There's so much load on the teachers that they don't have time to sit and, hey, how are you doing? They don't have that time. They only come do their duty as teaching. They have no time free where they could engage with young people in mentorship. So I find that to be a real gap that we find right now in the society we are living in.
So in looking at the education system right now and the learning institutions, a majority of students and pupils spend quite the number of years within these learning institutions. Where do you place guidance and counseling? Is it also can it be used to leverage and enforce mentorship in these institutions?
Yes, it was supposed to. But
it was supposed to.
But it's not really doing it, because you find that like in the previous system of education, that was too much of academic and all that. There was no time for that. Yes, it could be there, it could be slotted on the timetable, but practically it wasn't being done. The teacher would spend that time to do some mathematics and these other examinable subjects. And so it was there, supposedly, but then the practicality was lacking.
Right.
And so could be with the new CBE curriculum-based education, could be we may expect better changes as we go through, because it's not so much about now competition as it used to were during the 844 system of education.
Now, from the learning institutions, let's look at modeling, or rather mentorship within now the society, and we look at the family unit. When you look at the statistics that we have, is a majority of these households are single parent households. How is this now affecting that social strata where you're supposed to learn from a peer? You know, single moms are raising boys, single fathers are raising girls. How do we address that issue?
That is where now I would say the church would supposed to come in.
The church.
The church would come in and fill those gaps. In the church, there are all manner of people. And that's what I'm advising, counseling the churches, that the church should form the community that has lacked now since we came to town. I am asking the elders in the church should kind of form a bond where the young men in the church can easily come to them. The ladies, they can be the aunties in the church. So what we lost previously when we came to town should be found in the community of the church. And I think that's where now, even if a single mother was there, the elders there would fill in and provide the father figure that would be lacking in her house.
All right. Now, yeah, you have, experience within the church, being that you're a retired pastor. Some of the feedback that you're getting, they're questioning, is the church ready to be the mentor? Because single parents are often shunned from the networks within the church. What's your take in regard to that matter?
Well, I would say where...
In some churches, that is.
Okay. Let me talk about my church, which I have a more knowledge.
Yeah.
In 1997, thereabout, when I was pastoring Kibera Church, I'm from the Seventh-day Adventist background, I saw that need, that the single parents, and especially they were ladies, men, they don't stay single long. After they become widowed, quickly they find somebody somewhere, and life goes on. But for the ladies, and I would see that was a very unfortunate thing, that during the time that we were to put ourselves in groups of married people between 10 years and 5 to 10, we have those groupings, then these ladies would pick their bags and move out of the church. And I was saying, where are these ladies going? Where would they find help? If not in the church, where would they find help? And that concerned me. And I told the ladies, this time around, you're not going out. Come around. And we sat with them, and we started now the single parent ministry, which is now going on to date. It's now a big ministry. It wasn't there before. So the church should be there to look at the gaps that exist in the community and the society and fill those gaps. Come with programs that would fill those needs that are felt in the church.
If mentorship, as you said, you're recommending it to happen within the church, or rather within the scopes and the confines of the church, a majority of youth are not attending church, Pastor. How do we bring them in? How do they benefit from mentorship if they're not getting to church?
Well, by church, I don't mean only the church as in the premises of the church.
The worship.
The church should come up with programs that they go to where the young
outreach
people
programs.
They go to where young people are. Young people are in sports, young people are in, the church should come up with a program that are going to reach out to them. For example, now what has made me come here today is that I have a program I run where when the time for transitioning these boys to men, that's not a church thing per se. It's a cultural, cultural.
It's a rite of passage.
Rite of passage. Yes. We get to that space, and like what we have done now, we get into that space, get these boys, come, boys, from whatever, don't go to church, it doesn't matter, come. And when they come there, they go through the institution rite of passage, and during those 2 weeks or 3 that they are there, they are mentored. Not necessarily in a church setting. Mm-hmm. It can be, we can go to where the young people are. And I think that's what the church should be intelligent enough to know that if they can't come to us, we go to where they are.
Mm-hmm. If they can't come, we go to them. Mm-hmm. So how then do we leverage on technology, to offer mentorship? Mm-hmm. Because a majority of the targets, and that is the youth, is online. Mm-hmm. Any recommendations?
Yes, we do. During COVID, when we couldn't go to church and we were just caged in our homes, we came up with a program to start talking to young people. It's now almost 6 years since then, where we have an online discussion with young people, and we talk to them online, and we have WhatsApp wars that are there, and we have a number of young people who we talk to every day on that platform. So we are leveraging on technology to reach where the young people are. And so there's much, the older folk, we may need to be taught how to use these gadgets more.
To get tech savvy.
But at least we have the mind. We only need, could be more training. Could be, you people could do that, so that you give us, you make us digital and all that literacy, so that we reach to where the young people are in social media and all that.
All right. Yeah. Now, with the latest reports in regard to the youth, they're struggling with unemployment, they're struggling with identity crisis, some of the issues that have also been highlighted to leading to mental issues. From where we sit, how then, other than mentoring, are we supposed to get them out of these situations? Because they say, if you are talking and I can't see how you're helping me well, we might lose them. How do we address that?
Well, again, that's a huge challenge we have in the country. I think the world over, that there is so much of unemployment that's around. And what I would challenge the young people also is that as they go through the education they're getting in universities, let them not be so much looking on to employment. That they go to a university, they want to come out and get a job. I would say that when they are there, let them think about how they can originate, come up with the things that can occupy them. Let them have hobbies that would turn into business, so that they don't only think that employment will come from the government or from the existing companies. They should also come out and innovate and come up with things that they could do. So the challenge, I would think, is not just to be left to the government or to the employers, but the young people also should be challenged to think a little wider into wanting to provide employment themselves. Generate employment themselves.
All right. Now, how do we make mentorship inclusive? I'm looking at, young women, youth living with disabilities, and those in marginalized areas. How do we make it all inclusive?
Well, I would say in all these spaces, there are all these people. Whether in churches, there are people who are needy. I think it should be a collective responsibility, where those that are in the church with those kind of challenges, they would also reach out to their peers out there. So it's not left to any one person to think about everybody else. It's about the church leadership providing an environment where every member of the church is made, active and wanting to reach out to the peers that are around him, so that it is not just one person left the pastor to do everything. So I would say that we can use those that are in the church to reach out to those that are without the church, and bring them in So I would say that is what I would say would be a good idea.
All right. Now, so if you were to issue, if you were on the hot seat and you were in capacity to change a few things in this particular scope, and what would be your recommendations to government, to educators, employers, and society? What must Kenya do now to unlock the potential of its young people?
Yeah, I would say, yes, the issue of mentoring, I would say this is where we are losing it, whereby the older folk have no time at all with the young people. And the time they come to the young people, they are blaming them, they are calling them names. I would pray that we be friendly to our young people. Whether you are a chief, whatever position you are holding in the society, let's be friendly to our young people. Let's not make them like enemies. They are not our enemy, they are our children. And so I would recommend that we get to understand our young people. We make them friends, we come to them, to their level, talk their language even. Try to learn some of their language and get to their level. That's how I've been able to be with young people for these many years. I've been in mentorship for these 19 years. Wow. Since I started this issue of getting young people through circumcision and all that. 19 years. And I know their language. When you do that, you understand them, you come to their level, you are able to get into their mind. And when you do that, you win their confidence, they are going to open up. They're going to tell you what's going on, and that way you can also sit and see what you can do together. So I would pray that everybody make our young people our friends. They are not our enemies. They are not hardcore people. They are people. They are our children. Let's love them. Let's bring our hands around them, and we are going to push them to walk with them, walk with them into posterity.
There's a term that is used loosely, in societies. Huyu ni kichwa ngumu. This is a hard-headed person. What do you say to such words that when they are, used to describe the youth, as you've said?
That's very unfortunate. I don't think anybody should be branded that way. It's a branding, which is very bad. We cannot sit here as parents and brand our children, call them names and brand them and leave them at that. I would say that we don't do that. We don't brand our young people. They may make mistakes, like we all did. We all did during our time. We did our mistakes. And I am only imagining if our parents just clambered us and called us names, where would we be? Would be not here. So now that is our time now, we are the people on these seats of parenthood and fatherhood, grandfatherhood. Let us be loving to our young people. Let's love them. Let's not call them names. Let's not brand them. But get close to them, talk to them, understand them. They are very nice people. I have dealt with them and I know they are nice people. They can go to the level that you want. As long as you understand them, walk with them, mentor them, be there for them. You take them along with you to wherever you want.
Indeed. Yeah. Very well said. Tonight we have been talking about youth mentorship, and our guest has been none other than retired Pastor Dr. John Gishuri, CEO, Njema Mentorship Foundation there. And his take home, instead of condemning the youth, we need to embrace them and understand their language. If they can't come to us as mentors, as role models, we go to them. I'm Regina Manyara. We bring Sunday Express to a close. Have a beautiful evening ahead. And if you have not achieved your 2025 New Year's resolutions, well, let's say you have just 31 days to go. See you soon.
For charity, dial *419 hash.
Nakuona. Kuja hivi sasa. Ona. Ona. Mama tu. Dakika moja. 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 What is wrong? What is wrong? Buddha. Siku umedial *419 hash. Shika. Yaani haujuko option 3 kuna Pro Box. Pro Box. Usisahau wa *419 hash option 3 iko Pro Box ya bahati. Na ikikuangukia ufunguo utakufikia mahali popote ulipo. Usisahau.